In November 2019, Disney Plus dropped a show called The Mandalorian. It was set in the Star Wars universe, but it wasn't about the Skywalkers, and we didn't see the main character's face until episode 8. But nobody minded because we had this little green creature to look at, and by the end of season 1, Baby Yoda was everywhere. Disney Plus had found its first signature hit. 2 years later, Stern released the Pinball Machine. A custom Grogu toy in the playfield, Emmy-winning theme song from the show's composer, and original voice work from one of the most beloved character actors of his generation. I'm Ryan, this is The Skill Shot, and today we're talking about The Mandalorian. By the early 2020s, Stern was no longer the only major pinball manufacturer left standing. Pinball was making a comeback. The industry that nearly died in the 90s was experiencing a new golden age. They were releasing 3 new cornerstone games every year, each one in 3 editions, Pro, Premium, and Limited Edition. The Mandalorian was one of the biggest releases of 2021. The game was designed by Eddy, the same guy who designed Attack from Mars in '95 and Medieval Madness in 1997, 2 pins that are routinely ranked in Pinside's top 10 of all time. After designing those games, he disappeared from pinball for almost 20 years to work on video games. But he came back in 2019 to design Stranger Things for Stern. The Mandalorian was his second machine after returning to pinball. Carl Weathers does the callouts in this game. If you grew up in the 80s, you know him as Apollo Creed. If you're from the 90s, he was Chubbs from Happy Gilmore. If you watched my all-time favorite TV show, Arrested Development, he was a version of himself who taught Tobias how to stretch a chicken into a free meal. There's plenty of meat left on that bone. Yeah, all right. I'm never gonna get through this now. If you grew up in the 80s, if you shut up over there. He was a version of himself who taught Tobias how to stretch a chicken into a free meal. Stop it! If you watched my all-time favorite TV show, Arrested Development, he was a version of himself who taught, I can't do it. He was a version of himself who taught Tobias how to stretch a chicken into a free meal. In The Mandalorian, he played Greef Karga, the bounty hunter guild leader who hires Mando in the first episode, a reoccurring character across all 3 seasons. When Stern was developing this pinball machine, they brought Carl Weathers into a studio and had him record original dialogue specifically for the game. Brand new callouts that he recorded just for pinball. Carl Weathers passed in February of 2024, and the voice work on this pinball machine was one of his last projects. This machine features one of the most decorated music credits in pinball history, Oscar and Emmy-winning composer Ludwig Göransson. Known for his legendary scores on Black Panther and Oppenheimer, Göransson also composed the music for Disney Plus's show, The Mandalorian. When that iconic slow-rising horn theme kicks in through the cabinet speakers, you're listening to a pure Emmy-winning masterpiece. This machine has Grogu on it, and other than being really cute, he doesn't do much. I have heard some complaints that the Grogu Toy just kind of sits there rather than interacting with the ball because he really likes metal balls in the series. But there are some fun sound effects when you get the ball in the right place. The major mechanism on this machine is the Encounter Mini-Playfield. On the premium and LE editions of this machine, there's a rotating upper playfield, a small additional playfield with 2 flippers, 6 stand-up targets, and the ability to physically rotate while you play. When the Encounter mode activates, the upper playfield changes its angle through the levels. It's really challenging to keep the ball up there. This could be the only moment in pinball where just slamming the flippers repeatedly is the best strategy. The Pro version of this pin doesn't have the rotating Mando helmet, it's just flat on the playfield. If you want the full Encounter experience, the Premium and LE are where you go. But the Pro is the most accessible price point and still gets you 90% of what makes this machine great. To rack up points in this game, you need missions, multi-balls, and flamethrowers. Missions are the story-based modes that follow specific arcs from the show. You're hunting a bounty, You're rescuing Grogu. You're escaping the Imperial Remnant. The Encounter mode is where the upper playfield comes into play on the Premium and LE. You can also earn Beskar, which can be spent on different items at the Foundry. These items change the strategy of the game. The Wizard mode is called This is the Way. You unlock it by completing Mission Pass and earning your Mandalorian Signet. It's deep code and it rewards repeat play. Let's talk about where this machine stands today. The Mandalorian was a massive commercial success when it launched. The 750 LE units sold out fast, Pros and Premium shipped in heavy numbers throughout 21 and 22. It's currently ranked in the top 30 on Pinside's Top 100. This machine has aged well. 5 years after release, the code is mature and stable. The voice acting from Carl Weathers has only become more meaningful since his passing. The Ludwig Göransson music remains some of the most iconic film scoring in the modern era. For Star Wars fans, this is a great pinball machine. The 2017 Star Wars pin exists, the 1992 Data East pin exists, but this one, built around the show that revitalized the franchise on Disney+, has the best pop culture timing of any Star Wars pinball machine ever made. So that's the rundown on the Mandalorian. Now let's play a few balls and then we'll give it a flip score. There are 3 skill shots on this, and if you can nail them all, it is one of the most satisfying things I've ever done in pinball. To get them, you hold down the left flipper and you give it a full plunge, and then we're going to try to hit this inverted scoop. Missed. You can't backhand this left ramp, but it's pretty tricky. Hit it once in a while. Scoop is lit. We earned some Beskar from that last shot, so now we're in the Foundry. We can choose one of these many things to upgrade our game with. Some of them are offensive. This adds to the ball save. This gives us a mission smart bomb once we start a mission. This is a mystery one, and if you pick this enough times, an Easter egg happens where everything is lit, you get a multi-ball, and it says Dank Ferric every time you hit a switch. Let's try random. Maybe we'll get the Dank Ferric and get really lucky. I can show you guys that. Amber Blaster. So once we get a 3-ball multi-ball going and I lose a ball, I'll remember to bash this and keep my multi-ball going a little bit longer. So we do have a mission started now, and since we have that, what we want next is the multi-ball. Okay, we got the multi-ball going. All right, check it out. Now, to get extra points, we're going to hold down this action button, and Mando is going to do his flamethrower and light up all the shots. And everything will be worth double points. It's going to kick in another ball. I just used my blaster, my rifle, my multi-ball going a little bit longer. Still trying to get those yellow shots to complete the mission. Lit a jackpot. We get enough shots. Oh, we almost had it. All right. Backhanded the jackpot. Booyah! Super jackpot of 56 million. Jackpot is still lit. And that's the game. Terrible first ball, amazing second ball, everything went my way. Mandalorian is a super fun game to play. Now let's give it a flip score. 5 categories, 20 points each, 100 max. On shots, there's 4 flippers, clean ramp returns, many can be backhanded. The Encounter Mini-Playfield on the Premium and LE adds an entire dimension to play, and it gets a 17 out of 20. On code and depth, missions, encounters, spending your Beskar to help with missions, plus a wizard mode, plus continuous code updates through Stern Insider Connected. This is one of the deeper modern Stern rule sets, and it gets a 17 out of 20. Theme is where the Mandalorian shines. Carl Weathers' original voice work, Emmy-winning score, authentic video clips from season 1 and 2 on the LCD, a Grogu, a mini Razor Crest. This is what theme integration looks like when Disney opens up the vault to you. 19 out of 20. Moving on to build quality, standard modern Stern construction, Spike 2 hardware platform is reliable, cabinets are sturdy, mechanisms are tight. These machines run hard on location and hold up well, no major quality concerns, 17 out of 20. On resale value, a Pro trades between $6,000 and $7,000. A Premium trades between $85,000 and $10,000. And LE trades between $11,000 and $13,000 depending on number and condition. The values have been stable since launch, 18 out of 20, for a total flip score of 88 out of 100, a strong A. This is one of the best Modern Stern releases in the past 5 years. The Mandalorian is what happens when a legendary designer comes out of retirement to work on a top-tier license at the peak of its cultural moment. It has Brian Eddy's geometry, Carl Weathers' last major voice performance, Ludwig Göransson's Emmy-winning music, and a Grogu sculpture that makes you smile every time you walk into the room. If you're a Star Wars fan, this is the way. If you're not a Star Wars fan, but you love great pinball, this is also the way. It's still one of the best games in the Modern Stern catalog. Subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode of The Skill Shot.